And I'm back. More Phoenix Rite, Spirit of Justice. And it's the start of the trial for my FA. And we've been here so many times before, but now we're in Rite. But let it be known, they've had trials everywhere. They've had trials in Japanifornia, they've had trials in a medieval castle, dungeon-y type place, in a crossover game, and now they have it in a fucking Indian or, like, Chinese or Bangladesh or whatever place. So here we fucking go. Maya's on trial again. I wasn't able to find any conclusive evidence yesterday. But if I can figure out Lady Kira's motive for threatening the High Priest, then maybe. Nick, today, well, don't look so down, Maya. I'm gonna defend you with everything I've got. You would do well to cease this insanity while you still can. As I said yesterday, I'm gonna defend my client in court. Well, know this. You shall not witness a miracle of the sort that occurred last time. The moment she is found guilty, you too will be found guilty of abetting the accused. I never claimed to be a miracle worker, but I am good at discovering the truth. And unlike miracles, the truth is always waiting to be found. The truth, you say? Then it seems you've chosen your fate. This shall be your very last trial. Nick, I'm gonna prove you innocent. You'll see. After all, you have to introduce the plumed Punisher warrior of Neo-Twilight Realm to the folks back home, right? Right! I may be a defendant this time. But I'll be on your side, like always, Nick. Thanks, Maya. This place is tough on lawyers. I'll need all the help I can get. Plus, it's always good to have you on the team. Well, it's time. Let's go. It's nice to have her back. Let the trial of Maya Fey begin. The defense is ready, Your Majesty. Huh? Quiet. Can't you see Prosecutor Sadmati is absorbed in silent prayer? Great. Trial's barely started and the judge is already mad at me. He's very devout for a prosecutor. Why is the accused standing over there? Oh, well, Your Majesty. In addition to being the accused, she is also my assistant. The accused is your assistant, you say? Very well, then. A criminal does indeed make a fitting partner for a lawyer with a defiled soul. That wasn't very nice. Yeah, well, bad-mouthing lawyers seems to be a custom here in Kurain. I must say, I am surprised to see you still here in Kurain, Mr. Rite. And even more so, to find you in the Hall of Justice once more. I cannot fathom why you would willingly risk your life in yet another trial. The answer's simple, Your Majesty. I'm a lawyer, and this is what lawyers do. Although, to be frank, I'd rather be anywhere but here right now. Such foolishness. Prosecutor Sadmati, are you ready to begin now? Yes, Your Majesty. The prosecution is ready. Let us begin without further delay. But first, I promise you both this. I will cast your wicked souls into the fires of hell. Thus shall the soul of the victim attain salvation. Splendid! I'd expect nothing less from you, Prosecutor Sadmadi. Please save the victim's soul! Punish the wicked lawyer who dares stop the last rites! I think I'll pass on the whole fire and brimstone deal. I'm not surprised by your words of stance, considering what Apollo told me about you. So it was you who instilled that putrid lawyerly guile within him. Putrid what? Putrid what? He too must soon face the fires, lest his soul be lost to redemption. But I shall send you on ahead, so that he will not be lonely when he arrives. Sorry, but I'm afraid it won't be that easy. People say I never know when to give up. Nervous, Maya? A little. Feels like it's been ages since we stood side by side like this. Too bad I'm the defendant, like all the other times it always happens. Don't worry. Haven't lost a case together yet. You're right. Let's give this everything we got, Nick. Now then, Prosecutor Sadmadi, would you please explain the case at hand? Of course, Your Majesty. Let us begin the last rites of the victim. Maya Fey has been charged with crimes of murder. The victim in her heinous crime was the High Priest Abott Inmee. He was conducting the purification rite when he was brutally slain. And the cause of death? Let us review the victim's autopsy report and crime scene photo, shall we? The cause of death was blood loss from a stab wound delivered to the abdomen. The murder weapon was most likely the Warba dagger, which was used in the rite. However, the weapon has yet to be found, though the scene was thoroughly searched. A sacred relic used as a tool for murder? The Holy Mother's wrath shall be quite severe. The murder itself took place at the height of the purification rite. The accused had donned Lady Kira's sacred robes, and the victim was there to offer prayers as the High Priest of Kurainism. During the rite, the victim and accused were the only two at the inner sanctum. Therefore, the only person who could have slain the victim is Maya Fey. I must say that does cast a great deal of suspicion upon the accused. Indeed. Now then, allow me to submit this diagram of the crime scene as evidence. In Kurainism, slaying a priest is a sin most grave and dreadful. As such, Maya Fey's soul shall be plunged into the lowest level of hell, the hell of tickling. There she shall be tickled without end for 500 million years. Oh, that is a terrible fate indeed. Would the defense care to respond? And here I thought the lowest level of hell was the hell of back pain. I don't remember killing anyone, and I don't have any dagger or anything like that. As my client stated, she has no memory of any event as described by the prosecution. More importantly, she had no motive to kill the High Priest in the first place.
Objection.
I thought you might say that. Nevertheless, the meaningless prattle of lawyers is utterly ineffectual here in the Hall of Justice. For all will be made clear by her benevolence Rayfa, Padma Karain's insights. So it is, and so it shall be. The divination seance reveals the truth for all to see. Here we go again. Bailiff, please show in the royal priestess. It's Princess Rayfa! Oh, how beautiful her benevolence looks again today. Glory to the Holy Mother for this blessed day! As popular as ever, I see. Rest assured, good people of Kurine, I will defeat this murderer and her abettor. They shall not escape from the Freedom Express today. What a joy it is to have the royal priestess back in the Hall of Justice. May the Holy Mother grant us her divine favor. Urdihara Kurai! She sure looks pleased with herself. Especially for someone who didn't know what a Freedom Express was until yesterday. Is there something stuck to my face, barbed head? No, nothing, Your Benevolence. Except those marks. And your tiara. Anyway. No, the Benevolence. The divination seance, if you please. Very well. Nana, my robe.
O Holy Mother, we hold this divination seance in your name. Let the eyes of everyone here be clear, and our ears be unstopped. O dance of devotion, guide the victim's soul to me, so that we may receive their final memories in the pool of souls.
The victim's Mitama has spoken. The divination seance is complete. Great. Another clearly incriminating seance vision. Could not be any clearer or foul defense. The accused donned the sacred robes of Lady Kira and then attacked the victim. Oh, how very terrible it must have been. The figure of Lady Kira lit against the dim lantern light, the scent of incense growing ever more potent as she drew nearer. One can almost sense the horror Abott Inmee must have felt. The facts, as presented by her benevolence, are indisputable. Blech! That wasn't me. Do something, Nick. I'm working on it. Couldn't have been any clearer. Looks like I'm in for another uphill battle. The accused committed the vile act during our ancient tradition, the purification rite. Come to think of it, the Rite's Guide explains the multi-part purification rite in detail. The transformation rite. The high priest reads scripture while a priestess dons the robes of Lady Kira. The rite of water. Lady Kira enters the spring and the high priest purifies her along with the dagger. The rite of fire. Priestess circles the sacred flames and purifies her soul. Indeed. It would seem that the murder occurred during the transformation rite. The rite dictates that the high priest stand in front of the spring. Therefore, the accused must have attacked him from the direction of the broken lantern. Well, Barbed Head, would you care to object? Of course, because I know my client is innocent. So you say. You truly do not know when you are beaten, do you? I managed to pull it off last time with Albie. I'll just have to do it again. You indeed. You intend to find fault with her benevolence's insights yet again. It would seem lawyers are Polkunken creatures indeed. Look at that Polkunken! Polkunken! Polkunen! What is as a Polkunen? Something that's not a Polkuken, like I first did. And anyway, someone who's a real piece of work, so to speak. They can call me anything they want. Polkuken, Polkunen, dipshit. Anyway, the only thing that matters is about covering the truth. So, Barbed Head, are you foolish enough to risk your life for your so-called truth? Because my insights are the truth. To deny them is to willingly dig your own grave. Okay, so third statement, he heard the accused's footsteps. Fifth frame. Sound footsteps, top right. Okay. The victim commenced the purification rite by bowing to the lanterns and reading a sutra. As is the first part, the transformation rite ended. He lowered the sutra. Suddenly, he heard the accused approaching footsteps and smelled her incense-laden robes. It was then that the victim felt an intense pain. I believe this is when he was stabbed. As his life's blood spilled over, his vision dimmed, till finally he passed from our world. That is everything the victim experienced in his final moments. Dressed in the sacred robes of Lady Kira, the accused rushed the victim head-on. The brutal stabbing she perpetrated could not have been any clearer. Yes, it is plain for all to see. It wasn't me! A sudden drowsiness came over me during the transformation rite. I didn't even get a chance to put on the robes. You waste our time with such meaningless statements, accused. You cannot explain away the truths revealed by the royal priestess's divine insight. How did you end up finding contradictions last time? Okay, so this is just kind of just going over what they did before. I sure hope I remember. Okay, so it's third statement. He heard the accused footsteps at 5th frame. Okay, so I need to pause it at footsteps on top right with sound. Okay. Wind. Goddamn phone. I swear I'm gonna break it one of these days by dropping the fucking thing. Alright, so footsteps, sound, top right. Okay, gotta get it back to where it was. There we go. Sound. Okay, so
objection!
I think I figured it out. Victim supposedly heard the accused approaching footsteps. But did he really? What nonsense is this? Is it not abundantly clear? No, it's not. Because there's something strange about those footsteps. Strange? Explain yourself, barbed head. Footsteps are strange because they don't get louder. They're not getting any louder. Why exactly does that matter? Focus your attention on the incense the victim smelled. Scent grows stronger as the accused approaches. If the accused really had approached the victim, the sound of her footsteps would have grown louder as the scent grew stronger. Ugh! Why, that does make perfect sense. How can this be explained, your benevolence? Well, there must be a reason.
Objection!
It is as they say, even a putrid worm of a lawyer will turn. What does that even mean? He's not exactly singing your praises, that's for sure. Still, we cannot discount the information solely on the account of the lawyerly source. Your benevolence. Perhaps you must listen more carefully to the Abbott's Mitama. Listen more carefully? What's he talking about? Yes, it would appear so. I shall try to refine the sensation. Refine it? I can more accurately gauge sensations by deepening my communication with the Mitama. I didn't know you could do that. Why have we never done this before? By refining the sensation, a clearer picture of the truth can be discovered. Oh, blessed Mitama, I beseech you, hear me now and respond to my call. Bells? Footsteps changed to bells? What could this mean? Bells, but the only bells at the scene of the crime were... Oh, that jingling must have come from Abott Inmee's bells. You mean those big things he had on his ankles? Well, there you have it. The sound of bells from the High Priest's own footsteps. Then that means... If the footsteps belong to the victim, it means it was the victim who was moving, not the accused. The victim was the one who went running towards the broken lantern from the spring. A far cry from what her benevolence's insight would have us believe. Interesting. But why would the victim have approached the accused? Maybe he was trying to defend himself. Please explain. He could have felt threatened by Lady Kira standing there with a dagger. If so, he might have thought to overpower her before she attacked. Still your voices! This is not but a theory, and a poor one at that. Be not led astray by this obvious postulation.
Objection!
While his insolence is inexcusable, I would ask that you calm yourself. Is there something you'd like care to say, prosecutor? Even if it was Abott Inmee who moved, it does not negate the accused crime. What do you mean? The accused was likely waiting for the high priest to approach. Ah! And as he neared, she plunged the dagger into him. It is as simple as that. Oh, right. It really doesn't change much, does it? Yes! It is as the prosecutor has said. In fact, it is what I meant to say all along as well. Right. And that's why you were so shocked when you first heard it. God, these two are so good. Understand now, lawyer? That contradiction you conjured up has come up to naught. Once I hone my insights, it will vanish like the dying rays of the sun. See? The fact that it was Abott Inmee who moved changed nothing. Come on, Phoenix. Keep your cool. Contradiction I pointed out must mean something. The one sensation changed after she refined her vision. Stands to reason that something else might have changed too because of the refinement. I should focus on any sensations that have changed, while searching for more contradictions. Alright, so third statement. Fight off by the broken lantern at sound of water. Top right, okay. He rushed the accused and tried to fight her off on the broken lantern. Water, okay. So. Pause it. Okay, after water. Bells. There we go, water. Whoop.
Objection!
Yeah, this is a little trickier than normal. Hold it! How do we know the purification rite was performed exactly as it was supposed to be? That's easy. The customs governing the rite are very clear, and Abott Inmee would have adhered to them. Well, that's strange. Mr. Rite, would you care to explain why it's so strange? I'd ask you to consider the sound of the victim's footsteps. The sound of bells changed to the sound of water at one point. What's this? It's simple. The victim must have stepped in some water. Oh. Yes. And the only source of water in that inner sanctum is the spring. And therein lies the contradiction. What contradiction? I believe the rite started out as it should have. The victim stood with his back to the spring and the accused stood right in front of him. But we now know the victim moved into the spring. Bokunka, that's absurd! That means the accused's location differs from what her benevolence insight indicates. Then where do you propose the accused stood when she donned the robes? Again, I'm wondering where this changes the dynamic of things?
Take that!
But okay. Until this moment, we all just assumed that Abott Inmee and Miss Fey were standing where they were supposed to be, as shown in the Rite's guide. In short, the victim should have been standing with his back to the spring and the accused in the front. However, if this is how they were really standing, he couldn't have stepped into the spring as he approached her. Problem is, the victim did step into the spring. So again, I'm wondering where Phoenix is going with this. This could only mean that Miss Faye had actually been standing in the water. But if this is true, then their positions would be completely reversed. Again, I'm wondering where he's going with this. But this is Phoenix Wright, they'll explain it eventually. What's going on here, Miss Faye? Were you really standing in the spring? I'm sorry, but I barely remember anything about the Rite. The High Priest would never make such an obvious blunder. What on earth? How's that even possible?
That's enough!
Be that as it may, that does not overturn my insight. It doesn't. Let us say the accused was standing in the spring. So what? So what? This completely reverses positions. That their positions differed than what was customary is rather curious. However, what does that change? It certainly does not erase the brutal crime. Yeah, Phoenix, you dork. I guess you have a... Damn it, Phoenix! You lawyers are so an absurd breed. Never thinking ahead, you cling to the first insignificant contradiction you can muster. Yeah. Sounds like Princess Rayfa's got a pretty good grasp on what lawyers are all about. Maya, where would I be without your brutally frank commentary right now? Probably back playing piano. Is this contradiction really meaningless? Something doesn't feel right. Did I take a wrong turn in Albuquerque? I had to do it, come on. I will now amend my insight to account for this new truth and the Bugs Bunny reference. Anyway, poolside lantern. Okay. Alright, so third statement, pool lantern at 4th frame this time. Okay. With sight at wind. Okay, interesting. Different. Now the contradiction is no more. But the truth of the matter still stands, no matter how stubbornly you deny it. What do you have to say for yourself now, Mr. Wright? Nick! Your Majesty, this lawyer may have raised a trivial objection, but her benevolence's insights have no further inadequacies of any kind. Yes, so it would seem. Wait a second! There is another contradiction! Still you flounder about, wretched beast. Though you rack this putrid brain of yours, nothing worthwhile will come of it. Maya, please tell me you remember something that might help us out here. Sorry, I really don't remember a thing. Now that the place I'm standing in has changed, who knows? I might have caused a new discrepancy in the insights. That's right, we now know that Maya was standing in the spring. A major change like that could very well produce a contradiction. We should take another look at this inner sanctum diagram and confirm where Maya and Abott Inmee were standing, and then focus on any discrepancies. Okay. So, Springside Lantern. Yeah, he rushed the accused and tried to fight. 4th frame, sight while wind is visible. Okay. Interesting. While wind is visible. Sight. Is this right? Huh. Okay. Yeah, he rushed the Springside Lantern. Sight while wind is visible. Yeah, not the wind, the sight. Oh, the lantern. Oh. Ah, this bit.
Objection!
Lantern on the side when he turns right. Oh, I messed up. I messed up. You're usually able to get rid of these things, and I messed up. What the fuck? Damn it. Yeah. What the fuck? Okay. Alright, third statement, he rushed... What the fuck? At fourth frame. Okay, I don't get it, game. I followed the guide as exactly, and it's supposed to be what... I pressed it the way it's supposed to be pressed. And yet, for whatever reason, I don't get it right, but the apparently... Yeah, it says hit the lantern.
Objection!
What the fuck? There was no difference! Ah, you suck, game. Ugh. It was one of those, like, spotty situations where I just... I'll edit the shit. Alright, fine. Your benevolence, I found a new contradiction. After 10 minutes of trying to figure this shit out. You did? No doubt it's another of your vile attempts to slander my insides. No, how about the game not referencing that site at lantern, but because I didn't press it in the middle, it gave me a fucking mark. Anyway, whatever. No, take a good look at where what the victim saw. It might just change your mind. The lantern flame behind the accused was flickering. There's nothing unusual about that, especially as the wind stirred. No, that's where you're wrong. If the accused had been standing in the spring, then what you see here should be one of the lanterns flanking the statue. I fail to see your point. My point is, something's wrong here. The two lanterns flanking the statue are both outfitted with glass wind guards. So another lantern's flame should have been flickering in the wind in the first. So neither of them should have been flickering in the first place. She seems pretty ticked, Nick. Oh, so am I, game. I don't remember saying anything funny. I fail to see what you wish to prove here, but... Very well. I shall refine the vision and reveal the truth for all to see. And hopefully not fuck up for 10 minutes this time. Okay, so the guide was right. Okay! Well, how about next time, stop being so finicky about each little bit of the lantern I'm supposed to hit. Like, ugh. Okay, it's fine. It's fine! Okay, so poolside lantern. Third, while wind is visible. Third, as he rushed the accused. At second frame sight, lantern on the right when he turns right. Lantern doesn't have a wind guard at all. And rightly so. For the wind guard was removed to reveal the sacred flame within the Rite fire. Therefore, there's nothing odd about the flame flickering. Say what? You mean I gotta do another episode later and waste even more time of my day? God damn it. Anyway, I'm really pissy. I'm sorry. Anyway, we searched that crime scene and those lanterns had their wind guards on. That's because the police put them back on. The sacred flames have burned uninterrupted for hundreds of years, defense. We cannot risk them being extinguished even during an investigation. Never fly back home. Well, Barbed Head, are you quite done quibbling? Yes, ma'am. If so, then it is time to bow down before the testimony of this Mitama. Nah. Nick! Don't worry, just getting started. Let's go over everything we know so far. Maya was wearing Lady Kira's robes and standing in the spring. The High Priest is thought to have been moving towards her, so I should be looking for sensations that stand in contradiction to this arrangement. I won't give up. I'm gonna find a contradiction that will undermine the accusation. Okay, so third statement, sight on the second frame. Okay. As he turns right. Okay. Sight, lantern, the one on the right, when he turns right.
Objection!
Oh, I get it right this time, game! Ugh. I'm really pissy, I'm sorry. Anyway. What could this possibly mean? The lantern clearly contradicts the insight. But this contradiction will overturn the entire case of the building. Are you alright, Mr. Wright? One minute you shout out, the next you fall silent. Perhaps it is like the bellow of the one who is barreling down a hill with no way of stopping. Is it all right, prosecutor? Don't get cold feet now, Phoenix. Even if this overturns the entire case you built, the only way is to keep moving forward, because that's how we'll find the truth. Sorry, but I'm not barreling down a hill. In fact, I'm in full control of everything this indisputable contradiction found. Is that so? The lantern behind the accused clearly, no, blatantly contradicts your insight. Does it now? One of the lanterns on the entrance side of the inner sanctum was broken. And if you watch what Abott Inmee saw in his final moments, you'll notice that the lantern behind the praying form of Miss Faye is broken. The lantern behind Lady Kira, however, is still intact. In short, we're seeing two different lanterns in the seance vision. How could this be? And even if it were so, how would that contradict my insights? Let me start by saying, the claim I'm about to raise will overturn the case I've been building so far. Will the defense please explain himself? Based on the broken lantern, we can tell Maya and Inmee's position. Broken lantern and bottom right lantern, where the accused and the victim were standing. But did you not just finish asserting the accused was standing somewhere else? I did, and I built my argument on that faulty premise. But thankfully, it has led us here, to the actual spot where Maya Faye was standing. I must say, if the defense keeps changing its assertions in such a capricious manner, its credibility may come into question. I'm willing to take that risk, Your Majesty, because I believe this will be the last time. I'd like to start by pointing out the actual spot the accused was standing. Very well. Show us where you now believe the accused was actually standing. Broken lantern and broken or bottom right lantern. Based on the location of the broken lantern, where was Maya really standing? Alright, so it says between broken... oh, bottom middle. Oh, I see.
Take that!
Game, stop being so fiddly! Stop being so fiddly, goddammit! Ugh! Oh, God! Alright, this one was more on the game than me this time. I couldn't fucking... They said bottom middle. That was bottom middle, game. Ugh. It said bottom middle. That's where I pointed. Oh, for fuck's sake, are you really this fiddly, game? God! I wasn't thinking straight before, but it's falling into place. We know the victim had stepped into the spring. I was like a smidge down. Can you fucking believe this? It means Maya Faye had to have been standing in the water as she approached. Or has he approached? However, his memory, which is now only becoming clear, reveals that Miss Fey was standing at the side of the broken lantern. In other words, she was standing where she was supposed to be according to custom. Does this not bring us back to the very beginning? No. This is where things take a different turn, and I mean that literally. The victim had to have been moving towards the spring. That means that while he was moving, he had his back turned towards the accused. What's this? Did you mean to say the victim turned around during the rite? But such an image appears nowhere in the seance vision. Actually, it does appear. It's just no one noticed until now. No one noticed? And how could no one notice something so big? There was a moment when the scripture the victim was holding was all we could see. Thanks to that, none of us could tell where he was in fact turning around.
Objection!
And again, I'm starting to wonder where he's going at. If this is as the defense asserts her benevolence's insights no longer make sense. How do you intend to explain?
Objection!
I don't know. I'll try to figure it out before I keep losing freaking health. Anyway, I don't need to explain anything because it's just as you said. Her benevolence's insights don't make any sense because they contain a huge error. Such insolence! A huge error, you say? Do explain. The huge error is the number of people there. Gee, I hope I get this one right! Man, I'm really pissy today, I'm sorry. I believe this is what happened at the scene of the crime. The victim was reading a sutra when suddenly he sensed someone behind him. He immediately looked back to see someone dressed as Lady Kira standing there. Wishing to see who it was, he approached the robed figure. That's when he was stabbed. This cannot be! Oh, but it can. And it is. The insight stating the accused stabbing the victim was wrong. And that the real truth lying behind his testimony of the dead. Oh. Poe. Kuka! Is she gonna faint again? Are you suggesting there was someone else at the scene of the crime? Have I misunderstood the voice of the Mintama yet again? Oops, she fainted. Oh, God. That was a close one. Yeah, I know. I kept losing health. But I managed to divine the true meaning behind the seance vision somehow. I should add these new facts to the court record. Your benevolence, please allow me to take it from here. I will overturn this brash accusation of this faithless, putrid-minded lawyer. Yes, I shall place my trust in you. Damn. Are you sure about this, prosecutor? My work as an international prosecutor has taken me to courtrooms around the world. And in that time, I have learned to perform last rites for souls in trials lacking a seance. Of course, forgive my ludicrous inquiry. Moreover, I have with me a forensic investigator from overseas. I will show you all the most magnificent last rites ever seen. Guess he really does think highly of Emma and her expertise. I'm impressed he's come to understand their value, but again, he is an international prosecutor who solved cases around the world. Time to hunker down, huh? Now then, let's continue with today's proceedings. Could the defense please tell us this third party, dressed as Lady Kira? Your new claim has negated the insights of the World Priestess, so I trust you have some evidence to support it. Of course! This third party must have really wanted to kill the High Priest. I might be able to identify who it was if I have evidence of their murderous intent. Well, we're waiting, Mr. Rite.
Take that!
3 days before the purification rite, the victim received a warning letter from an unidentified individual. He did? Whoever sent it clearly meant to threaten the High Priest. The letter said, "Do not perform the rite," but the rite went on as scheduled. I believe that's why the High Priest was murdered. Who do you suppose sent the letter? A person with something to hide. The rebel hunter disguised as Lady Kira herself. Peace! I don't understand. I'd heard Lady Kira that had been news in the news of late has only hunted rebels. If so, why would she have killed the High Priest? Excellent question. Maybe it would help to think of it this way. What if the High Priest had secretly been a rebel? High Priest? He couldn't possibly have been a rebel. High Priest? A devout follower of Kurainism? A rebel? Do you even comprehend the blasphemy of which you speak? Well, do you? I too found it hard to believe at first. But as I continued my investigation, it started to become more and more plausible.
Objection!
The third party was the rebel-hunting Lady Kira, and the High Priest a rebel? Your mockery of Kurainism, and that the kingdom of Kurain itself shows no bounds! Whoops. That shameless Polkunkan lawyer, Polkunin! He's a mockery! As a faithful Kurainist, I take issue with these claims, and I'm loath to admit them in today's proceedings. I don't like where this is going. The defense's claims are but vile blasphemy tantamount to spitting on the Holy Mother. Is it really that big a deal, Maya? Abott Inmee was a distinguished monk and well-respected, so... yeah. Ugh. Don't let this turn into an international incident. But fear not, good people of Kurain. The rantings of this putrid-brained lawyer who seeks to sully the soul of the deceased shall come to no avail once I conclude the last rites. The prosecution's assertion that the accused killed a victim remains unchanged. The victim was stabbed in his abdomen. How is that possible when he had his back turned to Miss Faye? Someone else must have killed him. Are you sure about that? You may have invalidated the seance, but do not let it go to your putrid head. The karmic flow of this trial, is as of yet still in my hands. How can you be so confident? Something has occurred to me, you see. And your allegations of a third party are but a deluded fantasy. And I shall prove it by calling a new witness to the stand. Alright, this sounds like a good spot to call it. I need to figure out how much time I spent trying to look up that early fuck-up. And then I'll call it here. I'm going to try and get a second episode in, if possible, today, but we'll see what happens. Sorry for being a bit of a bitch in this episode, but the game was kind of fiddly. It really just annoyed me. But we made it through, and I'll see you next time.